Hi guys, I'm Pranobis, and I've been working with Foundry since a week ago, minus 1 hour. So I'm exactly 1 hour less than the whole week on this, and let's see how far I've got it. It's pretty self-intuitive. So here I have my brand new character, Bob, and we're going to want to give him some abilities and stuff. So let's start off with his stats. For the sake of speed, I'm going to make him a simple barbarian. So I'm just going to use a pretty standard point buy, 15, 15, 15, 8, 8, 8. His max HP is going to be 12 plus con, which is going to be a plus 2, so 14. And he's going to currently be at max. Okay, and with that in, let's actually give him his barbarian. Okay, and just for record keeping, it doesn't do anything mechanically. I am going to change it so that it marks that I have 1 level in Barbarian. Barbarian abilities. I can drop on other tabs that automatically go where it's supposed to. We get range and unarmored defense. Did range. There it goes. Background. Let's do Demon Hunter. I know it's marked as subclass, but that's really just a background. It's just everything gets stuck over here for now. Okay. Starring equipment. Oh, we actually gave ourselves a battle axe before we started. Cool. For starting equipment, I need to look somewhere else because we haven't imported the list of starting equipment. Oops, I forgot to do that until I was doing character creation right now in front of you guys. But for a weekend, you're going to always forget something. Let's see. Okay, so this is popping up my ebook. And the ebook's not necessarily pretty, but it's very functional. So let's jump down into classes. But very functional, I mean it's 8,000 pages long. It has everything you need, but it's hyperlinks to quickly navigate. Once it's actually loaded the 8,000 pages into memory. I really need to optimize that so it goes a bit faster. Okay, so this is our list right here. So we start off with a martial weapon, and by clicking that, let's see what our options are. I think I'm going to go with a great sword. I'll leave it here so you guys can see as I reference it. So we come into weapon table. Oh, just knowing it was martial melee, I know that I've been limited to this list. Excellent. But I want the great sword. I think I've thoroughly confused it by clicking too many buttons before it's fully loaded. And apparently changing font size by holding control and scrolling. I have really confused it. Okay, but we still have this working. Let's do a race. I'm just going to do a half orc. So ability score increase is 2. I could drag it over, but I don't want it over. I just want to reference it. So 2 to strength and 1 to con. Which means I need to increase my health by 1 more. Age. If I cared, I could read through these things and really focus on a lot of that. But I'm not going to be all that picky. Dark vision. That we'll need to deal with. 60 feet. So, only the game master can set dark vision. We'll take a look at that in a minute. I did set it for 30, so we need to expand that at some point. I know common and orcish. menacing, relentless endurance. And these are going in under my feet. Savage attacks. Size, speed is 30. Okay, so there's all of that. And we'll see if my ebook has figured out what it's doing yet. There we go. 2 hand axes or 1 simple weapon. Let's go 2 hand axes. Okay, well, it says 1 quantity, so I believe we can drag another. And that creates a separate line. That's not what I wanted to do. So let's just edit quantity to 2. Explorers pack and 4 javelins. So while it opens the Explorers pack, let's pull over the javelins. Oh, level 1. Okay, Explorers pack is a backpack bedroll mess kit. I could individually bring these all over. Eventually I want to make a parcel so I could just drag it all at once, but we don't have that capability yet. Okay, so that is our starting equipment. Let's take a quick look at okay. Skills. So the barbarian gets animal handling, athletics, intimidation. Ooh, I'm pretty sure my menacing gave me intimidation. So this part I'm actually going to delete menacing just so it doesn't confuse me. I want to look at just the stuff I have to pay attention to and not remember the subtle stuff. So 2 from animal handling, athletics. So probably going to be athletics. And then maybe let's do athletics and perception. Okay. Saving throws and strength and con. And we're done with character creation. So if we were to get into fight at this point, I'd just be choosing between my inventory if I'm using the great sword, and I can roll an attack, advantage, normal, disadvantage. I can type situational bonus, and one of the most common things is going to be a +2 from rage. And again, although I guess that's just going to be over here, that's going to be the +2. So, cool. That works. And then of course we have these other things where if I want to share relentless endurance with the whole party, I could click that as I'm bouncing back up and giving myself 1 health from when I would have been knocked out otherwise. They have some combat optimized at this point, but not a whole lot. And they have a lot in the works, in the plans to add more features in the future. Cool. Spellbooks, you can just drag spells over in here. And although barbarians don't get them, we can see that we have over in here a whole thing of spells sorted by level. Not sorted by spellcaster list yet. But I have a few ideas on how to take care of that, and we should hopefully be adding that relatively soon. Okay, we have the whole rules, everything you need to play in here. Now it's not that easy to navigate because it opens in this single ridiculously huge document. Again, we're hoping to add more things. One of the things on the to-do list is for them to add more folders, and when they do that, we'll be able to make it easier to navigate back and forth. They also want to add internal hyperlinks, and so when that comes out, you'll be able to just read through any ability, and if it makes reference to something, it's like performance checks. Eventually, I want that to be hyperlinked. If you click on, it opens up a description of performance checks. But we're not quite there yet. They don't have the capabilities yet, but we are in early alpha. What they do really well, like I said, was just showing character creation is not bad. But what they do really well is the ability to have this dynamic lighting. So as you see me moving out there, you can see that I can already see way out here dim light and bright light because there's some sort of a light source out there. There's also, we can see just the beginning of a light source up here. And this allows me to adventure around. I can even go and explore side tunnels going off in different directions. And it has wall detection, so I can't just wander through the walls. Now the Game Master can drag you over walls. For example, if you decide that you're going to come down here and you see that item floating out in the lava, and you tell the Game Master, I'm just going to jump over and go and get it. Well, we have an invisible wall there that you can see through. The Game Master could drag you over, but he gets to warn you first. Are you sure you want to do that? I mean, it may look all intriguing, and you can even do a line to show where it is, or other ways you can demonstrate your want to go over there. But you're not going to be able to just jump off into the lava without the Game Master being able to say, are you sure you want to do that? And then we can always switch maps from these buttons up here that the Game Master can turn on and off based on where you are. The Game Master can lock and unlock doors. So in this particular case, I want to say we should be able to open this door. Oh, it's currently paused. So I need to change to the Game Master and unpause the game, which makes sense. And the Game Master can always pause it, therefore locking all of the doors to keep you from adventuring beyond where you're supposed to be. Okay, so I just hit the space bar, and it is now unpaused. And you can see what this looks like, and you're like, there's no walls. I thought there were walls. Well, the walls are all dynamic. I've created this wallless map, and I've created the whole map and everything that was seen within the last week. I've just been importing the data that we were using to do the character creation, but all of this other stuff is new within the last week. So it's been a busy but a good week. And the reason why I've doubled these up is that's going to mean that as we walk forward, and now that the game is unpaused, I can just switch back, and I can see these doors. I'm going to lock the second one so you see what locked looks like. We're going to change back to the player. Oops. I clicked the one button. I said configure players instead of change player. Okay, so back to the player view. Okay, and we're now in, and I can now click and open that. And we're going to move on down, and there's some really cool dynamic sounds that can be used with this. And when we come in here, we'll see that it leaves just a very tiny, faint wall there. So I'm starting to leave 2.5-foot walls wherever I go when I'm making maps. You can hear that. The jiggling of the doorknob that doesn't open. And the reason why I leave those 2.5-foot those 2.5-foot walls, is it makes it so that the players can still see the walls when they're adventuring around. So there's all sorts of cool stuff over here, and we've seen what a locked door looks like. But let me show you one of the fun things. I'm just in the John, right? Going to the bathroom, the rest of my party's out there. They hear a scream, rush over, and the room is empty. The room is empty? How do you explain that? Let's look at what's really going on there. Because yes, those are the bathrooms, the loo, the powder room, whatever you want to call it. But it's also more than that. Because when we look at the walls, there are secret doors, these pink doors, which I'm on the normal active view, I can open, they can't even see exist, and drag him through the now open door that closes behind him, leaving it so they don't even see a wall, and he's now an Iron Maiden, trapped up in the torture room. Kind of brutal, but I like the idea that could possibly happen on this map. And we have other places where this is used as well. So let's move back over here. So over here we see this door. This is also a purple door, which means if it's closed, my players will not be able to see that it's there. But, and that's the difference between a purple door and a blue door. Blue doors they can see and open. Purple doors they cannot even see. Red doors, it's like this one over here. A red door is a door that is closed and locked, but they can see. A green door is a door that is currently open. Okay, and we're going to switch back to Bob's view. So Bob won't be able to see that. And this is the Game Master's view of Bob, so I can still see that door. I can still override him and move him in. But if we switch over to Bob's actual view, and to give you the best, let's see, this is 1. I'm going to reset Bob's vision. So we're going to come down and Epic Dungeon 001? Why did you stick the zeros in front of it? Well, I'm planning on making a whole lot of these wallless dungeons and putting walls on them dynamically, which means that if you want a secret passage done on the fly, you'll be able to weave it in without your players knowing what you're doing, which I think is really cool. Okay, and let's see. Oh, I'm doing this one. It's not there. I always think it's over there, but it's actually over here. Reset fog of wall for all players. Cool. And now we change back to the player. From being within the player view now, there is no wall, and to attempt to go into the treasure room, you cannot move through walls! What are you even thinking? Cool. So those are a lot of the features from the player's viewpoint. Let's go into the last couple of things I've been working on the last week, which are into the NPCs and the combat tracker. This is something new I haven't shown any videos yet because it's new. So here we have all of the different CR folders, and we can see the Bob that was just running around. He's down there too. I haven't stuck him in a folder. And we can go into any of these, and we have all of these things, and they all have stats, and the features are in there at this point. But it's not yet optimized. So when we're doing the attack with the weapon, and it gave you nice wall buttons here, it doesn't have that yet. It just gives you the description, and the temporary thing, you have to type it in. So 1d20 plus 5 is his attack, while 2d6 plus 3 is the damage. You could do that, but it's kind of clunky. I'm going to finish optimizing it by adding those in there so it's easy to see. The good news is that we do have all of them in there, and if we look at some of the higher level things, actors. Again, I've only been doing this for a week, so I'm still clicking the one buttons. It's not quite instinctual for me yet. Let's just look at the task. So we see the 3 legendary actions, 3 legendary resistances, and features. We have all sorts of fun stuff going on over here. We can display out for if we want them to see it. And he bites you! Or you can just use the die roll, wherever you wish in this point. Still need to add in the skills, but for the most part we have that there. And you can randomize the health, if you feel so inclined. Marks what source it's from. Why does it say mark what source? Why is that important? What's important because some of these other things in there, they're not from the system reference document. The system reference document is what is released for free by the biggest publisher. But I've been writing a lot of my own homebrew stuff, and that stuff is included in here as well. I'm trying to leave you so you can know what is what. Because if we go into the classes and we take a look at that barbarian, we've seen Path of the Berserker, yes, that's familiar. That's from the system reference document. You've seen that. Almost any game master will accept that. These other ones, Battleborn, Executioner, Fist, and Healer, those 4 paths are something that I've been working on, tweaking, rebalancing, editing, playtesting, and they're in here for you to use. And you're like, in here for you to use? Yes, I'm a publisher, and that's part of why I've spent probably close to 100 hours in the last week, and am this far into the software. The good news is that as a publisher, that means I'm going to bundle all of the work that I've been doing, all of the actors, and all of these other item photos from backgrounds to classes, equipment, feats, races. Feats! Yes, lots of feats. Lots and lots of feats. Bundle all of this up and release it. the initial release is probably just going to be a world folder that has all of this preloaded in it. But eventually, as we add more features and as they add more features into the compendium that allow better organization, then it will be moved over more into the compendium section. The problem right now with that is it sticks it all together in a single list. And you're like, wow, those are really nice tokens. Yes, I'm planning on referencing them for mine as well. I just figured out how to do that yesterday evening and haven't had enough time to implement it yet. But those are the default images that are distributed here, and they're a great place to start. My other big hope is that as we start making more and more money on Patreon by releasing this content, we'll be able to start to afford to add a lot more images in so that we have really cool artwork to go with all of the attacks, all of the monsters. Because even in the official compendium that's been released, and we take a look at the actors, the monsters list, and they are just as boring as mine. No images there yet. But that's a work in progress that can be solved pretty easily once we have money coming in. And it doesn't even have to be a ridiculous amount of money for us to start on that. The deal I made tentatively with a photo company is something like, once I can start paying them $500 for each 500, I get another 50 images or something like that. It's kind of expensive, but for any type of commercial release, that is ridiculously cheap. I'm super happy that they're making that deal tentatively. I hope that we'll stick with that and be able to do business. Compare that to commission artwork, where you're talking minimum of $200, oftentimes $500 or $1,000 per image. $10 per image is looking really, really good. Well, thank you guys for watching. I will probably not be streaming today because I really want to finish up. You may have noticed that when we were looking at all of the NPCs, none of them have spells. Well, that's because the NPCs I was choosing don't actually have any spells. And except for the delete me, which is there mechanically, and they'll be gone hopefully by the time you guys actually see this released. But even if we came up to the Acolyte that does have spells, it just has a feature called spellcasting that, if we read, tells you what spells it gets. It doesn't have them in the spell book. Working on that. I think I have an idea that will make that all import intelligently, so that then as I update the spells to be optimized, it will automatically update the actors, the bestiary, to use that. So, a lot of things going on. I'm sorry for this update being kind of long-winded, but thank you guys for sticking with me. God bless y'all and have a great day.